We've all seen videos of whether it's a lawyer who inadvertently put a cat filter on his video appearance, and that judge handled that very well.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings.
We've all been muted and inadvertently started talking. We're all probably sick of saying you're on mute or can you hear me? I think everybody's dealing with that, not just judges and litigants, obviously. But it has made for a lot of interesting hearings. We're all working our way through it, both in the legal system and then the community at large. We're all getting better at it, but hopefully when this is all behind us, we can look back at it and maybe see something humorous in the situation that was otherwise quite horrible for a lot of folks.
One of the most memorable and entertaining was there was an attorney who was unaware that the camera was turned on and who had logged in early for a court hearing, and that attorney was getting dressed for court and buttoning up a shirt and then sat down, never putting on pants. So of course, when the proceeding began from the waist up, the attorney was totally dressed professionally, but had no idea of what I had observed or that I knew that that person was making an appearance without their pants on.
One of the lessons that I learned came from an experience where a juvenile on the delinquency calendar was supposed to appear for a call-in warrant. And the person who appeared and put himself out there as being this juvenile was not, in fact, him, but it was a little brother who was posing as him. So what I learned is that it's very important to have the video on so that you see who you're actually dealing with, because it was only through the heads-up work of the probation officer who said, recognized this child's voice and said that was not him, that we had to kind of, regroup, not quash the warrant, and ultimately the juvenile was serving some time in detention because of that.
We have all had experiences where attorneys, litigants, witnesses have appeared in less than favorable circumstances, and certainly not the way we would want them to come to court in person. And we also have all experienced times when someone may have thought that their conversation was private, and it turns out that it just wasn't. For example, I had a detective in a case who had some very colorful, profound things to say about my division, about me personally, and about the case that was getting ready to be called. I'm sure she thought her phone was muted, but it was not. And my knee-jerk reaction is to get upset. And that's not the right answer here, because as we all learn to conduct court in our professional lives in these digital or hybrid hearings, we all have to be cognizant of the fact that there may be a time when we think that our conversation is private and someone is overhearing it. And I just hope that when it happens to me, if it hasn't happened already, that someone will show me the grace and the latitude that I showed that person when I said, I'm sure you meant your phone to be muted. Because the truth is, what people say in private is entirely up to them.
I think the use of video platforms has shown us just how important the architecture of courthouses and courtrooms are. People view the justice system and everyone in it a little differently in a courtroom where there's a judge sitting on a bench in a robe. There's a seriousness and a solemnity that comes with being in a courtroom. And that doesn't really translate as well on a screen, especially when that judge is just one little box and a face on your smartphone or on your laptop or on a tablet. And so the thing we have to figure out going forward is how we continue to use those platforms and take advantage of the technology while still conveying the seriousness and solemnity of court proceedings that you get in the courtroom.
What amazed me was really the tireless efforts that so many people invested into keeping our system of justice moving. When you become a judge, when you work for the court family, you really are kind of a steward, so to speak, of our justice system. And that goes not only for judges, but everyone in our court family. And watching the dedication, the innovation, the tireless efforts that people invested over the last year has really just been remarkable. Being part of that team has just been a point of pride.
The court systems around the country have been operating the same way, just as we in Maricopa County have, for roughly 250 years. What we learned from the pandemic was that we can, if we need to, throw off traditions and throw off notions of what cannot be done. What excites me about moving forward with the court system is that there are so many things that we as a workforce did not think we could do that we can now attack, knowing that these traditions are not written in stone, and that if we need to deliver justice in a better way and do customer service in a better way, we know we have the ability to do that.